Greetings, listeners. I am your host this evening, Zach Barrett, and welcome to this Twisted Gear Studios production. You are about to listen to The Call, our Call of Cthulhu actual playcast GM'd by Derek Snow. Apologies on our last episode. There was a bit of a continuity error off the top of that last episode. During recording, a fire alarm went off and we had to retrace our gameplay steps when we returned from the evacuation. So please pardon our rust. The previous report from our investigators. They made their escape from the Church of Contemplation with the wounded Althea in tow, but not the tome they came to collect. They returned to the house on the hill to look over all the evidence they have as Althea recovers.
So as you're driving away from the Church of Contemplation, Althea seems to be in and out of consciousness, is awake, was helped, of course, into the vehicle and stuff, but as you're driving away, she seems to fade off and then snap back again. Signs of maybe a concussion.
She and I are in the back.
Concussions are really bad.
Yes.
Yes, just really, really bad.
Don't go to sleep.
And I'm assuming you're heading to the mansion on the hill, Althea's homestead.
That's a safe
The
bet.
Goodyear family's homestead, I should say.
That would be me, basically. I'm the only one now.
Oh. No.
So it's the Althea homestead. The Althea homestead.
Dun, dun, dun. Future characters are going to... Anyway,
I'm sorry, I have a concussion.
so...
As long as you stay awake.
You all seem, of course, to be a little bit freaked out. I mean, it's not every day you go shoot people.
Didn't look like anyone was chasing us as we drove away.
It didn't look like anyone was chasing you, but the bell was still ringing.
Oh, God.
Right?
Well, I'm probably tearing it out there. Like, are you sitting in the front with me?
Nah, I'm sitting in the front with you, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm hauling out. I'm on the gas. Go.
Gun is ready to shoot if anything jumps out at us.
Okay, so you're driving a little bit erratically and fast, a little bit stressed out. I would like you to make a drive auto roll for me, please.
Oh, God.
That is a 60, and I have a 40.
Okay, so what happens is as you're driving a little bit erratically and you start getting back into the main thoroughfares, because this is, of course, more in the industrial area, you come to an intersection and you just forget to slow down. And as you start going through the intersection, you are almost clipped by a truck carrying a pile of vegetables in the back that just comes within a foot.
Watch where you're going!
As you just run right through the intersection.
I'll start slowing down then.
Yeah,
definitely.
and that's fine.
I'll start slowing down. I'm sorry. Is she okay?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I could drive. Give me
Marion, is she okay?
give me a second to just crawl over the seat here.
No. I grab her by the shoulders and pull her back into the seat. She's a little disoriented, but the quicker we get her back to her home and possibly call a doctor, I think the better.
Avis, was there anybody following us?
Not that I can see, no.
Oh, okay.
Now, there doesn't seem to be anyone following you, although, Marion, when you grab a hold of Althea and pull her back into the seat, she seems a little bit out of sorts. Mm-hmm. Althea passes out. Her eyes roll up in her head, and she just slumps back down into the seat again.
I kind of slap her cheek. Does anyone have any water? Yeah. Althea, wake up!
Yeah, I got something better than water. I pull out my flask and hand it back to you.
Oh, God. I kind of wave it under her nose.
Mm-hmm. And just as that's happening, we're just going to go to Althea for a quick second.
Oh, for the love of God.
As you start having blurry visions
Okay.
of being on the side of the Church of Contemplation by yourself.
Okay.
And hearing a sound. It's just very blurry, you know, in those hazy memories of getting knocked over the head with something and everything goes black. And then you sort of notice being half awake and being dragged into the cellar.
Okay.
Underneath the church. And some broken conversation between the robed figures. And the only thing that really sticks out in your mind is them referring to something known as the Silver Twilight Lodge.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
It's okay.
And then as we're just going to jump back to regular time, where you hold out the
flask full of some very strong smelling alcohol.
Whiskey.
And all of a sudden, Althea, as you're having sort of your vision, you smell whiskey and you just snap awake. And then she wakes up in the backseat.
Okay, I wake up, look at the flask.
I hold it away from you. Okay, stay, you need to
Might
stay
be good
away.
if she drank it.
No, this will put her right back under. I hand it back to Amos.
And then I look
Alright,
at
I
Amos.
drink it.
I was gonna say I look at Amos and then
Should we be
With
taking
this
her
little,
to
like-
a hospital?
Is there one close
I hand it
by?
back to you.
okay.
Take a sip.
I take the flask.
I'm trying to get it away.
The closest actual place that has a medical setup would be the mansion on the hill.
Oh, okay.
Then again, do any of you have any medical training other than Althea?
Exactly.
Does Cadbury not have medical training?
I have 35.
We wouldn't know if he does.
Yeah, there's first aid and medicine. Both would be appropriate.
Yeah. No, I don't. I've got a 33 in first aid, so. I'm.
Would I know enough to try and know to keep her awake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
100%.
Okay. All right. So, Marion, just keep her awake. Just, pinch her, poke her,
Yeah,
do
that's
whatever
what I'm
you
doing.
need to
And I'm
do.
like holding the flask away from her and trying to give it back to Amos. Take this.
I take it. You got any staff that are good with medicine?
We should be heading to a hospital.
I don't know if there's a hospital could die. I don't really know this place that well.
My house is still better than any hospital.
So then the mansion it is
You are the-
closest, and she got staff.
Done.
I also
the
have
doctor
quite
at that
the
hospital. We need an
pharmaceutical
actual
collection
doctor.
in my home. Just take me home. I will find some sort of
The full staff of
remedy
people that
for
can help
myself,
around.
and we'll be fine.
I'm just gonna
Are
start
any of
driving to
them?
the mansion.
Are any
enough.
of them medically trained? As far as we know, she is the only trained person there.
I'm sure we can figure it out. She's got plenty of books there, right?
You got
You
staff?
treat yourself for a concussion.
Staff that can
Why not?
work with medicine.
I just need some ice and some whiskey. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I have staff. I mean, they haven't really had to do anything since I normally handle things myself. But yes, I'm not going to have a staff that large and be away from home without somebody there at least being able to handle the basics.
There you go, straight from the horse's mouth. Let's get back there.
Perfect. How far away are we from the mansion?
Oh, it's about 30 minutes, 20 minutes. It just depends because you're not really familiar with driving around this area.
Okay.
So, it takes you around. It doesn't take you much longer if you're heading back to the mansion
Okay.
on the hill. As you, yeah. And the rest of the car ride is just sort of keeping Althea awake. She starts slurring her words and her speech pattern gets jumbled, a little bit confused. And then she snaps out of it again and is her usual argumentative self.
I'm asking her questions throughout. Just Althea, you need to stay awake. Althea, can you tell me about your staff? Who's Cadbury? Do you remember who that is?
Are we at the house now?
Okay, so yes, you pull on up through the gate and through the winding past the hedge maze and everything else.
Oh,
And
look,
you
somebody carved a camel into that bush since we left.
You guys do not see a carved camel.
Oh my god.
I do love my gardening staff. They're quite good. They're quite good.
Do they carve lots of things? What kind of tell me more. Tell us more about your gardening staff.
Yeah, they're big fans of topiary, which is quite fine with me because I am a fan of it as myself as well. I did have elephants going all the way up my drive at one point. I believe it was last summer. Oh, it was quite lovely, quite lovely. Some of them sprouted flowers. It was very nice.
Oh, we're here.
I'm gonna say if we've pulled up, I've jumped out of
Yeah, I'm already
the
out of the
driver's
car.
seat and I'm hauling her out and walking up the stairs into the
gonna
mansion
sling her
with
arm
her.
over the shoulders to make her do some walking so she stays awake.
Yep.
Yeah, like a kid at an airport.
Yeah, pretty much.
Never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, usually, except with the shoulders instead of the hands, where it's like kick your feet. Anyway, so you.
So while they're carrying her, and I'm running up to the door, and
Okay, so you pull on up, and Amos and Agatha grab Althea and helping her put.
Protesting that she can walk, but probably can't.
Yeah. Putting her arms over your shoulders and helping her get up on over the stairs as Marion starts running up to the door. You get around halfway up the steps, Marion, and the door opens up and there's Cadbury And he's standing there in his suit with this quizzical look on his face as he's looking down. As soon as he sees Althea being supported, like there's something wrong with her, he just... Oh my God! Is everything okay? What's
She was hit in
happening?
the head.
She got hit pretty good in the back of the head.
Oh,
We need a soft couch to put her on.
Well, let's bring her to the laboratory. Let's bring her to the lab right away.
Absolutely.
I'll go get my stuff. He seems to be repeating things. Yeah? And he just
Fantastic.
runs back on in. And you all recall where she showed you her
To
lab
the lab.
before. And you bring her in, and just as you get her in place, running down over the stairs behind you is Cadbury with a white smock on. And he seems to have a doctor's bag. It's different than Althea's, but it looks to be military.
Damn.
Medic doctor's bag.
Really shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, damn.
As he runs on down and, let's put Althea on the table. Now, Althea, you're fully awake now. Just everything's a bit jumbled in your mind and stuff.
You know, it's odd. I don't really recall lying on this table myself. I'm also alive. That doesn't happen very often either.
Wait, what?
What?
You know,
Yes, Cadbury pipes up. Yes. We'll just get her on the table before she says something just out of the ordinary, people in these situations. Yes, get her up on the table.
That's it, Althea. Come on, just have a seat.
So I'm gonna help her and probably guide her to position on the table.
Immediately, he goes into his bag and hauls out a vial of liquid and a needle. And he takes out what he needs, and he goes over and he gives her a shot in Althea.
Oh, it's probably heroin.
And it's probably heroin. And Althea,
Nice.
eyes roll up in her head, and she passes out.
1920s.
And Cadbury, so what happened
We
to
were
Mistress Goodyear?
we were separated for. It couldn't have been that long.
She went off on her own on the other side of the house, and somebody must have jumped her.
Went off on her own. She's staring at you, Amos. He's staring at you. Went off on her own, you say? Ah, yes, I see. I see clearly now. Yes. Okay, so, and he starts sort of inspecting her head. He's like, yes, there's a nice welt here. It looks like she was hit over the back of the head with something.
Is she going to be all right?
Oh, yes, the Goodyears are a tough lot. It would take a lot more than that to take down a Goodyear.
Well, certainly from her personality, I can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
if I was awake, I'd be protesting right now.
Yes, but you're not, so shh.
No, I'm enjoying a good heroin coma instead.
So,
Which is better?
I don't know.
After around an hour or so, he makes her comfortable. Inspects her a bit. Says, "Yeah, she's probably gonna wake up a bit groggy." He seems to hull out some kind of pills, and he crushes them up and puts them in a line. And he's like, "As soon as she wakes up, I'll get her to snort this." And I'm sure
God, the 30s.
she'll be fine. If you all want to go to rest up and stuff, I'm gonna stay with her for the rest of the rest of the night.
There's a chair in the corner, isn't there not? Is there a chair in the corner?
Oh, there's chairs all around, and there's a desk and stuff.
Pass out with the hat over the face and pass out in the chair in the corner.
Sure, not a
Thank
problem.
you, Cadbury. It'll be good for her to have someone she knows when she wakes up. And then I head to my bedroom.
I'm going to, actually, Cadbury, are you sure you're going to be fine by yourself here?
Well, yes, it looks like Amos is going to sit in the chair
Just
and
kind of wave.
and stick it out too. She has nothing to worry about here. This is the safest place.
Do you both need, a beverage or some food? I can go get that for you.
Yeah, and Cadbury's like, yes, I'm sure some scotch or whiskey, maybe an apple.
Double or a single?
I'm behind Cadbury. Amos is behind Cadbury, and as he suggests these, I just kind of lift my hat up and I point at him and nod.
Yeah, so if you just go on upstairs into one of the many liquor cabinets, which I'm sure you'll find in almost every room. Yes, the 30s. Well, the 20s.
Of course there is.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, let's say
There's the 20s,
not the
sorry.
30s yet. He's not going to live till the 30s. Let's be honest. So
It is the 20s.
yeah, if you just bring down some nice bottle of whiskey and
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So then I'll head off and I'll go grab not only a bottle, I'll grab 4 glasses, because in case she wants some when she wakes up, and for myself and for the two of you. And sorry, I know Marion's not gonna take part of it.
No.
So too many things in my hands.
Yeah.
Can't get you water.
While we're walking, though, I'm gonna catch. Names are Agatha. Sorry, I'm gonna catch Agatha on the way. Are you all right? There's just been so much. We've been so worried about Althea. I didn't check on you.
I'm pretty. I think I'm okay. And I'm gonna reach down and feel the stem of that rose that I put in my pocket, and just kind of be, a little bit, tired.
Well, what you did to save Althea. I know you couldn't see where you were firing, but we left a few men dead back there, and I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I know for myself, I'm quite shaken.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just not do that. And then I'm just gonna continue on and to go get the whiskey or scotch and come back.
Oh, if you're sure, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. And then I'm gonna go and get the beverage.
So keep this going a little bit. Who is staying in the lab? I know Amos is.
Yeah.
And who is actually just going to go to bed? And I'm just asking Marion and Agatha. You're coming back with the whiskey, but are you staying or going to your
Probably
room?
gonna stay.
Okay, Marion.
Oh, see, I thought that. Yeah. I already said I was going to go, so I'm going to go.
Which is completely fine.
I'm just in character.
So, Marion, you just go to bed.
Yep.
And everything is fine. And everyone else who goes down, it's quite the uncomfortable sleep when you do finally pass out. Of course, Cadbury fills up a couple of glasses with some whiskey, and he seems to be very attentive to Althea. And
Yeah, I'm going to stay up drinking with Cadbury.
Yeah. Of course, he is sipping. He's not overly drinking, but he is just sipping and he's just really, worried about her and checking on her. And while you're awake, he's always like, yes, can you hold her head here? I just want to inspect this a bit more and stuff like that. And that goes on through the night. And I mean, Agatha is there as well. And it's a bit of a stressful night, but around 6 a.m. she wakes up. 6 or 7 a.m. So she's only out for a bit because you guys are out quite late. But she's only out for a number of hours, but still. But she does wake up, and Althea, when you do wake up, you're a bit groggy, but you feel yourself. And of course, soon as you wake up, you see Cadbury there, and he has a line of crushed up pills, and he's like, yes, just snort this, my dear, snort this, my dear.
How long has it been since the last time we had to do this?
Oh, 6 months at least.
All right, I guess.
Damn.
Let's try and wait another 6 months before I have to do this. And I'm assuming you also gave me something yesterday.
Well, it's when they brought you in, I gave you the shot as you have suggested whenever you show up like this.
Yes, okay, 6 months then. And I'm just going to take the pill.
Well, snort.
Well, snort, yeah.
Yes. And then, of course, you're a bit euphoric at the moment from the rush, but the grogginess seems to fade away somewhat.
Wow.
Yeah, and you snap into being more of yourself.
I'm feeling quite a bit better.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yes, and Cadbury sort of stands up, and he's really exhausted. He's like, yes, I'm sure breakfast will be up on the table soon. And we'll go wake up Marion, and you can all meet and have a nice breakfast in the dining ballroom.
Do you need any help, Cadbury? I can come and help you.
No, we have staff for help.
No. Cadbury's going to go and get himself some rest. Isn't that right, Cadbury?
Well,
You're going
mistress.
to go get yourself some rest.
Yeah, you see him just hang his head, and it just seems very foolish because he's such a large, tall man, and the way he just hangs his head is almost like he's been a chastised little boy. And he sort of just turns and he starts walking upstairs. Yeah, yes. And you can hear him mumble about, I went into trenches for this. He goes on up
You
the
aren't in
stairs.
the trenches anymore, even if you like to complain you are on occasion.
He just,
All right,
you
breakfast.
hear a loud harumph He goes on up over the stairs.
All right, then. I'm going to go and quickly freshen up and get changed and then breakfast.
No quick. You're gonna calm down.
Sure, you're all right.
I'll be perfectly fine. And she does a little double clap with her hands and then goes out of the room.
I'm gonna stay and see if she passes out while she gets dressed. At least I'm another female in the room, so why don't you leave, Amos?
I thought she went upstairs to go get dressed.
Oh, where?
I did, yeah. No,
I was gonna say, if she's gonna get undressed,
we're not in your room.
I left the room.
We're not in your room. Sorry,
Now
I'm
we're in the
following
lab.
you in case something like that happens.
Yeah, I'll go to
and
the
then
dining room.
after she's ready, I'll get fresh clothes.
Way to
on and
assume
come
I would
down.
just stay in the room when she gets naked. Jesus.
Okay. So what happens is, Marion, you're woken up by a...
So I guess I was gonna wake up early and see if I could help out in the kitchen.
Okay, so you're I'm going to say you're already up and, gone to the dining room. And some of the staff there are preparing quite the large breakfast feast. So you're doing that while some of this is happening. Amos, you head on up to the dining room.
I'll join her in a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'll join her there. Agatha goes to Althea's room. So Althea goes into her room. You follow in and you notice this room is the height of extravagance.
Oh, wow.
You look over to the side and you can see almost like a double door slot. There's no doors there. And you look into just the walk-in closet of... It's the size of a normal bedroom. A normal extravagant bedroom. It's the size. And it's... But everything in here seems functional. There isn't much like art. Like the rest of the house has art and stuff everywhere, but this room doesn't have much art on the walls or anything else. It seems to be a very functional room. Just really large.
Family portraits would be the only thing you'd see in this room.
Fair enough. There are some family portraits there, yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So in the closet, you just see clothes kind of start flying out, like near the door and stuff.
And just because I have a quick reflex, or at least I assume it, I'm just going to start catching them because I'm like, oh my god.
Yes.
Where did I put... Where... Oh, no, wait, I threw that away because of the staining from that work I did. I'm going to have to make a note to replace that.
I'm going to start putting clothes on the bed because now I just don't want to touch them anymore.
Oh, Agatha, you're here. You know, we should probably all have a conversation about what happened yesterday. I think that would be very productive because I feel like we probably learned a lot. I know I was unconscious for part of it,
Yeah.
but I feel like that was still a learning experience. I think there's a lot of things we could learn from all of this. I'm just going to get changed and then we can go back to downstairs and see the others for breakfast and then we'll just talk about it a bit. Yeah, sound good? Okay. And I go back in the closet.
Okay. Is my room close to hers?
No, it's no. This seems to be it's still a house,
Okay.
a mansion, but it's still a house. So
Althea.
your room isn't too far away at all,
Okay.
right? It's just not across the hall.
Oh.
It's the other closet.
Okay. Before we go down to breakfast, I also need a change of clothes. So I'll wait for you, and then can we just drop by my room so I can get some?
There's some stuff here.
Am I your size? I don't think I'm your size.
Well, there's all just come in and look. I mean, look at this closet. I mean, I have lived in some very, very, I mean, my upbringing isn't exactly, normal. But I mean, I know this is a lot. Just come in and look.
So I'll go in.
Yes, and Agatha, as you go in and you start actually poking around the closet, you notice that there's a lot of clothes and shoes and functional gear as well. Mm-hmm. But you notice there's a lot of clothes in here that would fit more people than just Althea.
Oh.
You notice clothes of all different sizes. You notice men's clothes in here. You notice women's clothes in here. You notice a lot of different clothes. You see a miner's helmet up on the top rack somewhere. Guppy boots. Like, it's just, you quite easily you find a suitable, functional suit that would suit you, or just regular clothes. Or a fancy dress. It's really up to you.
Why do you have so many clothes? It seems like you could fit an entire city.
Well, you never know what you might need, or who might be here, or, some of the clothes in here belong to my mother, some of it belong to my father, some of it belong to extended family members, of which there were many. I'm not sure if I was actually related to all of them. But there was a lot of them, so, and all of it is still perfectly good, and I don't really like the idea of throwing things out unless you can actually use them.
Okay.
If you can actually use them.
I'm gonna go through. Can I pick an item of clothing?
You can actually whatever you want your character to find and wear, you can find in here.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find a blue and brown checkered suit set.
Done.
Put that on. Don't question me.
well,
So
no,
it's probably
you're not
the
in the
nicest
dining room
clothes
yet.
I've ever worn, most
Yes.
likely.
Yes.
Yeah, most likely.
All tailor-made.
All tailor-made.
God damn.
I see you pick it out. I'm like, oh, that belonged to my cousin Matilda. She gave it to me after she had about 7 children and figured she would never be able to wear it again.
Thanks.
No, that's good. It's very fashionable. It's very nice. She had 7 children. And
I was
figured she would-
referencing the hip size, but that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
No, anyway.
Anyway, breakfast.
Yay. Okay.
And
Okay,
I'm
so-
already running out the door.
Hey, so you finish getting dressed and you all head down to, well, everyone else now heads and meets up with everyone else in the dining room.
After Althea walks in, when Agatha walks in, I almost spit my coffee out. And I'm like, you weren't wearing that before you went upstairs.
I got new clothes from Althea's wonderful closet.
Well, that was nice of her.
Yeah, you should
else is in
probably
this
take a look
house?
in there at some point too.
Why would I look in a woman's closet for clothes?
Oh, trust me, there's more than just women's clothes in there.
Why would there be more than women's clothes? You know what? I'm done asking. That's fair.
Agatha, you do recall as you were looking for your suit that you did run across a whole rack of trench coats and different monocolored ties, nice shirts. Just like it looked like a section that was just made for Amos.
I think you should definitely take a look up there. It's, someone in her family had very similar tastes to you.
Really?
As you're all sitting down for breakfast.
I'm gonna start eating and
I mean,
taking some
Yeah, there's
toast and
lots
egg.
of food.
If there's an offer from the person, if there's an offer, then absolutely.
How are you feeling, Althea?
I feel wonderful.
Oh yeah, there's so much drugs you put in there.
I thought that we should have a discussion about what happened yesterday while we enjoy our breakfast.
Do we have coffee?
Oh yes.
I'm
say,
going
coffee.
to make sure
2
she
pots
doesn't
in.
have any coffee because she's already hyped up as enough.
You look over at me, I'm already pouring a little snifter of whiskey.
I don't think you need that at breakfast. I kind of pull it away.
I disagree.
What
I'm
you
just
put
gonna
in your
stick
body
with
is your business. She has had a severe medical incident.
Yeah, she's a doctor. She decided to drink whiskey. I don't think we should argue with the doctor.
I mean, they use whiskey to clean wounds, right?
We just gave her heroin. I think she's all right.
But that was... Yes, heroin. So, discussion about what happened.
Yeah, do you
Yesterday.
remember anything after you got hit in the head?
It's a little bit hazy, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. But I do recall being taken into that cellar or some kind of area as such inside the house. And I think, now, I cannot confirm this because obviously I suffered some kind of head trauma, and I could be imagining it, but I do believe I was lucky enough to overhear some conversation between whoever these people were who did this to me. Unfortunately, the only thing I can quite remember is hearing something about the Silver Twilight Lodge. But I don't know if that's a place, I don't know if it's an organization, I don't know if it's just the name of a building, I don't know what it is.
Do you remember much about the individuals themselves? Did you see who hit you?
No, unfortunately not. It's all exceptionally blurry. It's all more just things I heard more than things I saw.
We saw a couple of individuals in black robes.
Black robes.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like they were about to gouge you from the center out with a knife they had.
Basically a cult.
Yeah.
Oh, a cult.
Although also the book that we were supposed to be finding for for the center was there. At least I assume it's the book they're looking for. It was chains. We weren't able to get it out in time. It was you or the book.
Oh, I suppose, yes. Thank you, then. It quite seems like you've saved my life yesterday. This is all becoming very fascinating, and I'm reaching for coffee.
And I'm pulling it away and drinking it.
All right. Oh, all right then.
Here, have some orange juice. Speaking of orange juice, where's Skeet?
Anyone got eyes on Skeet?
Quick question. Did Skeet go with you?
No.
We dropped
He
him
was
back.
very
going to go.
specifically
He was
took
going to
him
go
home.
find his cousin.
Yes, there we go.
Oh no, he was in the city.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice to see City Skeet.
Oh, right, but then we talked about we have to try and find him.
We left him behind. Oops.
Well, he chose to wander off on his own, but we saw how well that turned out.
And then we found out afterwards that the cops are looking for him.
Yeah, he is a person of interest.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe it's not him who's a person of interest. Maybe it's City Skeet who's a person of interest because they look exactly alike.
No,
They're going to be in the same place.
If I recall, what we had found out the other day was that they're looking for anybody from Swell's Gullet, which means we also, when we're outside at this house, we need to keep it on the down low that we were not anywhere near Swell's Gullet anytime soon. And as such, we should probably see if Skeet actually made it to his cousin's place.
Or his back. We gotta find him.
Yeah, he's not going to make it all the way back here. He either made it to his cousin's place or he never made it there at all.
Right.
Althea at that point just jumps up from her chair and runs out of the dining room. And you hear her kind of like running towards the kitchen, or what you imagine the kitchen.
Well, that was quick.
And you see her, and you can hear her voice like she's yelling at the staff and stuff. And then she runs back in and sits down and is like, so, I asked the staff if they've seen Skeet come back last night. And, no, he hasn't come back. Whew, I probably shouldn't run this early in the morning.
Probably not.
Probably should
Here, have some
move.
coffee.
Maybe not that. And I pass her some eggs instead.
Give her some orange pico tea as well.
Eggs, orange. And she picks up the orange juice that you gave her and just chugs it back.
Holy crap.
Don't
All
be
right.
alarmed. Don't be alarmed. I'll be fine. Give me less than 24 hours and I will be back to my normal self. I know I'm actually running at a higher pace right now. I can't really help it, but it couldn't be helped because I had to take what I took, and so... And she
Yeah.
starts drinking the orange juice again.
It'll definitely wear off in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, huh?
Well, with that in mind, does anyone know where Skeet said his cousin lived? Did he say?
His cousin is not super hard to find, if I recall. His name is
Ulrich Fannin?
Ulrich Fannin. Apparently he's a nice fancy banker in town. Not too hard to find one of them.
Ulrich Fannin.
Investment broker.
Really?
He's kind of a rich dude, apparently. Remember hearing about him.
Never heard of that name before, and I know a lot of rich dudes, as it were.
Well, I don't. So the fact that I've never heard of him doesn't mean much. Amos? Would you have a contact, or do you know from your circles where to find him?
I remember the name, but I remember the name from my time at Danvers.
What do you mean?
Like he was someone involved with the Danvers Asylum.
A donor?
I
A patient.
Oh, so I think he was a patient.
Oh.
Oh, well. Did he ever leave the hospital after joining?
I don't know. I think that would be before my time.
You just
So-
recognize the name.
Library. Sounds like a good idea. That's probably information you'd be able to find in your library here, Althea.
Patient records?
Well, no, I'm not looking for patient records to see if Ulrich Fannin has lived in town at all
Yeah,
recently.
as I stated before, Althea's library seems to be strangely up to date
Yeah.
when it comes to things.
If we're looking for patient records, obviously we'll go somewhere else. I'm just looking, I want to see if Ulrich Fannin's even still in Boston, because if he's not, then we're going to have a hard time finding Skeet. If he is still in Boston, then we'll at least have a point of reference to go to try and find him and start looking. He insisted that his brother lived in Boston, or cousin.
Right.
Well, I think the most important thing is to find Skeet's cousin as quickly as possible. At the very least, see if Skeets is there, and then let him know what could have happened.
Do you have a phone? You would have a phone.
Oh, there's a phone right there. And I
I'm
point to
surprised
the
she
phone.
doesn't got one that isn't tethered to a wall.
I'm actually gonna walk over
It's impossible.
and I'm gonna pick up the receiver. And I'm gonna be operator. Can you send me to the office of Mr. Fannin, Ulrich Fannin?
Hold on 1 second. Around a minute or so goes by.
This is a real long second.
Then the voice comes back and says, I'm sorry, there is no Ulrich Fannin that we have a phone number for.
Why did we let Skeet walk off on his own?
Thank you very much.
Because
and I'll
he's an
hang up the
adult.
phone.
That's
Could you ask them if they have an address for him?
Oh,
Or would they wouldn't. No, can you ask them? Oh shoot. I don't know any other investment bankers.
I do.
Could
Who
you
do you know?
maybe reach out to some of your contacts, see if anyone knows him?
I could do that. Just a moment. I'm sorry, I'm just and you could notice she was zoned out for just like a moment there. Yes, hang on. I will just get my book and grab a few phone numbers. And Althea, I'll get up, I'll leave the room and go to my bedroom and just grab something from my desk.
Someone should probably go with her.
I will.
All right, I will not. I'll go to the library.
Okay.
I'll find some info on Ulrich Fannin if there is any.
I'll go with Amos.
Okay.
So, a library use check takes a block of 4 hours. Okay, just to clarify.
Yeah, I don't really want to be
There's
spending that
time
long.
plus check. And it can be cut down depending with Marion and Amos looking for maybe the same information. You could cut it in half and it would still be 2 hours.
Well, because we're doing that while they're calling around, right? That would probably
Okay,
take
sure.
2 hours. And we're like, what, 7 a.m.? What time is it right now?
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm just going to streamline this a little bit. And
Yep.
to start off, I would like Marion and Amos to make a library use check.
Where's my library use? There it is.
That is not a D10. That's a D10.
So I got a 50 out of 60.
I got a 56 out of 73.
Okay, you both can put a tick into library use.
I love that.
You don't find anything
What?
on Ulrich Fannin.
Wait.
You don't find... Oh, even with successful, if
Yeah.
there's
No,
nothing
I know.
there.
Yeah.
You don't find anything on Ulrich Fannin banker.
Because that's
As-
what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on
Yeah.
like the financial columns of the newspapers.
As an investment banker. You do find a newspaper article about the arrest of at some point of an Ulrich Fannin con man.
I feel like my investment bank
When is
calls
that
aren't
from?
going to go very well.
Yes. Yeah, you notice that he was arrested in 1917.
Huh.
Like 5 years ago.
It's 1923. Yeah.
6 years ago.
He was arrested in 1917. Yeah.
Does it say?
Known to have conned elderly people out of money and such. It does notice into what you found that he escaped and he was at large. There's also a picture in the newspaper. And Skeet was right. Ulrich Fannin looks a lot like Skeet. A lot like Skeet.
Oh my god.
A
it
lot
is
like Skeets, as in
Like
it could
twins.
be Skeets. Okay.
Yeah, like they look very similar. Yes.
I'm going to be so mad.
So-
In, a 1920s quality photo.
Oh yeah. For 1920s, it just
So
looks.
like,
so
Let me
mad
get back to you, Althea. Don't make me
Find
put you
out.
concussioned again.
that I've had that person
can I
in
just
my house.
quickly ask, does it give in the article, it says it conned mostly elderly people out of money. Just want to check two things about this. One, does it give any names of the people he conned?
No, it does not.
Okay, and the second question is, it says he escaped. Does it say where he escaped from?
He was arrested in Boston.
But does it say the facility that he escaped from?
Just from police custody.
Just from custody. Okay.
Yes.
Is it even worth me talking to my buddy about him? Actually, it might be if they caught him. We may have to go talk to Bob.
All right. I don't know. Is this something he would have? Would this may have been beneath his notice? If it's a run-of-the-mill con man.
So I'm just going to move on over now.
Sorry, not Bob. Bill. Yeah, no, I mean, we should look to see if they picked up Skeet. Because they're looking for him.
That is worth talking to him if you think it's something he would know. I thought your friend focused mostly on...
Well, he's a detective, but I can have him take a look, see if they threw someone in the tank, arrested somebody, as long as it wasn't the government that took him.
1917 is the same year that Walter Corbett escaped.
Yep, sure is.
I'm going to move on over to Althea and Agatha, who for the 2 hours, Althea, you were phoning up different
Yes.
bankers that you and your family knows.
So basically I'd be like, someone I know told me about this person who is supposedly a banker in town. I don't know the name, and I know a lot of people, so I'm curious to know if this is a person in Boston or if anyone else has heard this name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you don't really get anywhere. Mm-hmm. You don't find... Well, most of the people you're phoning, the name doesn't ring a bell. The name doesn't ring a bell. Near the end of a couple of hours of searching, one of your family banker friends states, yes, the name sounds familiar. Ulrich Fannin, yes. Wasn't he that con man who was conning old widows out of their fortunes?
Really?
Yes.
If that's the case, that would explain why I've never heard of him before.
Yes. But that is all I seem to recall.
Well, you've still been much more helpful than anyone else I've spoken to so far this morning.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Can I call Danvers?
Yes, but at the moment, this 2-hour block.
Oh, right.
I'm just trying to do it because otherwise it'll jumble time-wise.
I mean, even Althea can't have 2 phone lines.
Oh, yeah. God forbid.
Yes.
No.
So, if you all want to meet up and relay information, and say you all meet up in the dining room.
While we all meet up, I'm like, that meme of Charlie Day when he's like got a bunch of newspaper articles on the wall and he's looking all crazy. I'm like, where Amos is basically writing a bunch of notes on scraps of paper whilst we're talking and
Putting them on the breakfast table.
putting them on the table, kind of like separately from the conversation, still listening, but isn't exactly hiding it.
Well, we found no information in the investment columns about Ulrich Fannin, but we found some disturbing information about a man going by the same name who looks remarkably like our friend Skeets, who was arrested as a con man.
Yeah.
Apparently he was conning elderly people out of their money.
Well, then that confirms what I was told by only one person.
Oh?
Who only had heard the name, potentially in the news. So definitely not a banker. Definitely not a banker.
Although he may have been
might be.
telling people that he was a banker is how he got their money.
Yes. Yes. Imagine so.
Although we did, there is I don't want to look too closely at coincidence, but this man escaped from police custody the exact same year that, and I use air quotes, Reverend Michael Thomas escaped from custody, and that Walter Corbett purchased the church we were at yesterday.
Yeah.
It could very easily be a coincidence, but considering we have also seen an obituary for Walter Corbett dated for some years previous, conmen have been known to assume deceased identities before.
That is true. I don't think anything you're saying would necessarily be a stretch. What now? I'm very interested to know where Skeet is.
I'm worried about him.
Me too.
I brought the newspaper clipping with the picture on it, by the way, so I show it to you guys.
He looks remarkably the same. I mean, cleaner, but remarkably the same.
And there was no pictures of Michael Thomas, correct?
Correct.
Or Walter Corbett.
Oh, yeah, there's no
Yeah,
pictures of Walter
specific.
Corbett.
I'm just trying to create a timeline. Here's the thing. I was already under the impression that Michael Thomas and Walter Corbett were the same person. But this similar coincidence means that one of three things is possible. Michael Thomas and Walter Corbett are the same person. Walter Corbett and Skeet Wilson Bottom, and by vicariously possibly Ulrich Fannin are the same person. Or none of them are connected at all. And the only reason why they can't all be the same because there is a record of Michael Thomas breaking out of Charleston State in the same year that Walter Corbett bought the church and that Ulrich Fannin escaped police custody, having only been processed at the local police department and not actually sent to prison. So you can't have one person escaping two places at the exact same time. So whoever broke Ulrich Fannin, let's go by that name, breaks out of police custody here in Boston the same year that Michael Thomas breaks out of Charleston State. Now, it's possible that he broke out of one to be captured by another in the same year. Was there any specifics in that article? Are there any specifics beyond just the year that he broke out of custody?
No, not from what you recall at all, no.
So either the man's really good at either police, capture rates got real good in 1917, or they are two different people. But there's a lot of coincidence.
I think it's far more likely that they're all different people until we have more information.
So there's no photo evidence of Michael Thomas
Or Walter Corbett.
or Walter Corbett.
No.
We only have a photo of said person, your Ulrich Fannin. That's the only photo we have. So it's not like we can do process of elimination here.
No, what we need to do is we need to find Skeet before the police do, or before the government does. If the police finds him, that's not too big of a deal. I can pull whatever last strings I can with Bill. But if the government grabs him, then there's no way we're going to be able to figure any connection out here. Or worse yet, Skeet ends up being really good at hiding, is actually Ulrich Fannin, and has just been really good at playing us for fools.
If he ends up being Ulrich Fannin, we find him first. You ask him whatever you want, and then I give him to Cadbury. I made that man a guest in my house.
That's true, but
That's
if
fair.
you do remember that Ulrich Fannin was also a patient at Danvers, he could have been sane, and then he was insane and put on a different personality. Like, we gotta tread really carefully.
Saying you're going to give him to Cadbury sounds much more threatening than I would have thought a couple of days ago.
Right.
Oh, no, that man's a terror.
Did
So what's the plan?
Skeet say anything about even what part of town he was going to?
Where is Charleston State Prison located? What city?
Charleston.
Does that
Charleston.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And Danvers is in Danvers, if you're gonna ask that. But I'm just
No.
See, that one I didn't know.
God.
That one I did not know.
Keep going.
How far away is Charleston and Danvers from Boston?
Charleston is the Charleston State Prison is just outside of Boston, maybe around an hour's travel.
So it's possible that Ulrich Fannin and Michael Thomas escaped from the same place.
It's possible.
So in which case, I don't know about all of us, but I know I need to go to Charleston State. I need to take a look at the records of who's broken out and see perhaps it's a logging error, or if they were two different criminals there at the same time.
I'd like to see
could've-
Danvers, just because I want to know the mental state of who we're dealing with.
That's fair.
So all of this is starting to think looking for Skeet has led us down quite a little rabbit hole. However, I also need to point out that we are technically supposed to be finishing a task for the center as well.
We have to go grab that book.
Do we have, can we get backup first? Like your friends? Because I'm not going back there by myself.
The cops ain't going back there. What is the procedure for the New England Center of Antiquities in terms of dangerous relics or the dangerous tasks of acquiring a relic? Life-threatening in some cases.
So basically, I'm just going to jump in here. The basic tenet of dangerous artifacts that the New England Center of Antiquities get people to take care of, because they're all different in their respective, as you saw from the hallway of ancient artifacts.
Yeah.
As you walked in. Basically, anything that seems to have some kind of weird or supernatural effect needs to immediately be brought to Alistair and Simon for them to find a proper way to house them. Basically, there is no procedure.
So that
It's just the Center of Antiquities, you bring it to them, and they research it.
Are there any other
Sooner
people?
is better than later, but if we have more pressing concerns, which at the moment I believe is the safety of our friend, then that can take precedence. I would like to get that book out of the hands of whatever that cult is as soon as possible.
May I make a crazy suggestion?
What's that?
It'll probably take me a couple hours. If I were to go to Charleston State and back, it might take you about a day, Agatha, to go to Danvers and back. What?
I think Danvers is closer.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 30 minutes away.
Yeah, Charleston
Driving.
State's in the same city, though.
Well, no, it'll probably take you guys both the same amount of time.
Probably.
It will, yeah.
Okay, so if you and I split off to our different ways researching Ulrich Fannin, what if Althea and Marion, you guys went to the center and see if they can offer up any extra hands to help out with the book? We all meet in the middle, evaluate, and see if there's any reason or possibility of going back and retrieving the book.
More information is good information. I mean, it can't be bad, right?
Yeah. I doubt anything's going to happen to us on our way to the hospital.
Knock on wood.
How many vehicles do you got, Althea, and how many drivers?
I have multiple vehicles and I can drive.
Well, I'm assuming that if you're going with Marion, then that's you guys covered, but that
I
would mean that
have
you and I
drive
need a
auto,
vehicle.
so I can drive as well. I can drop you off.
So basically, in the Call of Cthulhu, every character, if you look at your sheet, should have a 20% drive auto. Drive auto skill is only used for an extreme circumstance, chases, avoiding an accident, stuff like that. All of you, depending on if you wanted to be able to or not, knows how to drive a vehicle. That's more like stunt driving.
Yeah.
There we go.
You are
Marion
with us?
just doesn't have a driver's license.
Fair enough.
She knows how to drive a vehicle, but she never had the financial wherewithal to.
There were no licenses back then.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay, then.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That,
So we all just borrow vehicles.
Okay.
yes, you can borrow one of my vehicles. You can just go down and pick one. Just let me know. I'll get you the keys.
And as you're all discussing, standing up, planning on getting vehicles, the door to the dining room opens up, and in walks Skeet, and he goes over to the food thing, grabs himself a scone, pours himself a coffee, takes a sip, looks over at you, and what's on the go?
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Call. Our next episode of The Call will air Tuesday, August 13th. In the meantime, Tuesday, August 6th is the next episode of Spacers, our Starfinder actual playcast. The game system used today was the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition by Chaosium. Music, sound effects, and ambient tracks licensed through Triune Films, Video Copilot, and Sirenscape. You can find all Twisted Gear Studios' podcasts on YouTube, Google Play, Apple Music, and Spotify. Please follow and like Twisted Gear Studios on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Twisted Gear. Your players this evening were Janessa Coles, Lindsay Delansky, Zach Barrett, and Elizabeth Wells. Your audio operator tonight was Rob Hickey, and your GM, or Keeper, this evening was Derek Snow. If you happen to be in the Fort McMurray area, you can find me at Tavern on Main every Monday at 7:30 p.m. for trivia. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.